All right, let's talk about that. I want to dive a little bit deeper into what's preventing us from actual self-care. How many of you all do something for self-care first? Okay, so what do you all do? What does your self-care look like?
Walking, working out at the clock center.
Okay.
For me, it's spending time outside. Like, I love to just like sit outside, have a cup of tea, or listen to the birds, but like some outside time where I'm getting sunlight and quiet.
Mine is reading what I want to read, not what I have to read. Just reading is kind of like an escape.
Yeah.
Listening to jazz music.
Yes. Yeah. Anybody else? What does self-care look like for you? Traveling? Yeah.
Getting that extra sleep. That's, no, you didn't get it last night.
And that's the uniqueness about it. Self-care is different for each of us. There's no one way to quote unquote prescribe a self-care regimen. It's different for each of us. I think you had your hand up.
I like to read self-help books.
That's good. Okay. Now let's get back to those of us that are inconsistent, not consistent with self-care. What's preventing you from? Yes, ma'am.
The energy, I just don't have the energy. I used to be very active. I used to run, hike. I loved outdoor sports, reading, aromatherapy, all of it. Now it's just I barely have the energy to get up and go to work, get the kids to the bus stop on time. My energy levels have just went from to the
Okay, we're gonna come back to that. Anybody else, what's preventing you from doing some type of self-care?
Watch TV too much.
Watching TV too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. TV can be very time consuming. However, sometimes watching TV is my way of self-care, especially like on a Sunday, movie time. Now, I don't binge watch on TV through the week. I don't watch any TV during the week. Sundays, it's used on the weekend. Sometimes a Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. But during the week, I don't turn
I
the
would
TV
never get
on.
no sleep like that.
Sleep to the TV.
Anybody else, what's preventing you from self-care?
Being a caregiver.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of
And all of those are very legitimate reasons sometimes for us to say we don't want to take care of ourselves. But I was speaking to a group on yesterday, and I said we have to reframe that we don't have time, because if we don't take time for ourselves, what's going to happen to the people that are depending on us?
You won't be there for them.
You cannot be there. You cannot be there for them. So it's almost like it's not a luxury to take care of yourself. Taking care of yourself is pretty much a necessity, because if you're not full, how can you give out the necessary energy that the other persons need for you? And I'm not saying that it's easy, because it is not easy, but I always say you have to find some time to do something. I don't care if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Find the time that you can incorporate some type of self-care into your regimen. Like you said, you're going and you're going and you're going. At some point, your body's gonna shut down. And so we want you to start taking care of yourself before that happens, because when your body shuts down, you can't help anybody. The children, the parents, the spouse, you can't help anybody. I had a situation, I one morning and the side of my neck was in pain. And you know how they say, well, you got a crook in your neck. So I thought, oh, maybe I slept wrong, or, you know, I need to change my pillows out. But the next day, the pain was more intense. And so I do chiropractic care, so I went to my chiropractic and he, you know, did some work. But it just felt like that pain was not releasing like I wanted it to release. So I got scared. I was like, okay, I got some nerve damage. What's going on? So I went and had some testing done. The first set of tests, they couldn't find anything, but they wanted to prescribe some steroids. Of course, I said no. I need some more testing. If you can't tell me, you know, what's wrong, why am I taking these steroids? Well, we want to see, no, we're not going to experiment. So they scheduled me another appointment, and still they did some more testing. They still couldn't find anything. But actually, you all, it was nothing but stress. It was just that, it was stress, and my stress hit me on the side of my neck. I mean, it had gotten to the point where I couldn't hardly move. So for me, and I realized at that point in my life, a lot was going on, a lot of life was going on. And so it was that stress, and it told me, you can't do anything. Can't go to work, can't take care of anybody else. You can barely take care of yourself. So if nothing else, I want you to take with you that you are important. You have to find a way to incorporate some self-care for you. I don't care if it's 5 minutes. And I'm gonna give you some things that you can do. Sometimes self-care doesn't have to be, oh, I'm gonna go take a 7-day vacation. All of us don't have the luxury of doing that. So we have to find things that will work within our schedule. Sometimes going to therapy is self-care. Depending on, you know, what's going on. You think somebody said sleeping, taking a nap, massage, yoga. Sometimes just saying no to some things. I remember a time in my life, you know, you had to be on all the committees at church. How many of you all on 4 or 5 Delta committees? So sometimes we have to learn to say no. That's part of self-care. So again, it's what will self-care look like for you? Okay, next one. Okay. All right, so let's talk about reflexology and some mindfulness. Mindfulness is really basically just being in the moment. Not worried about what happened yesterday, not concerned about what's going to happen tomorrow, because we really don't know. We can't change what happened yesterday. So it's really about just being in the moment, being aware and being present where you are. One of the things that reflexology does is it totally relaxes the body. Most people are surprised on how relaxing it is. Even though working hand or feet, it totally relaxes the body. So you can go to the next slide. We're gonna do, okay. So I want to shift, any questions so far about self-care, anything you need to work through about how you can truly build in self-care into your lifestyle? One of the things that I do to help me talk to myself and remember self-care is, my name is short, so it's 3 letters, Mia, M-I-A. So I use that, the first letter of my name, to write out me a plan. Sometimes that change, like M, and you can do it, you can write it down. If you got a long name, just think of something. I mean, you may not want to do 10 letters, but shorten that for you, like Mia, mindfulness, moments of mindfulness. That reminds me every morning to do something, whether it's meditation, you know, prayer time, getting up, doing some stretching, whatever that is, that reminds me to be intentional about doing that. And when I get in a stressful moment, I said, okay, Mia. And that reminds me of those things that I said that I was gonna do. And mentally, it takes me there for what I said the MIA was. Affirmations, you know, and that keeps me going and keeps me focused and keeps me balanced. Okay. All right. One of the things that I like to do when we talk about mindfulness is some deep breathing. And we hear this all the time, take some deep breaths, take some deep breaths. But do we actually do it? Sometimes. How many people when they get in a stressful situation, they stop and just take some deep breaths? Okay, about half of it. Okay. All right, so we're gonna do that just for a moment. And when you do the deep breaths, what I want you to do is breathe deep from your abdomen. Don't suck it in, don't suck the breathing in, because you need to, your abdomen, your chest is gonna move outward. And just do some deep breaths, hold it for a second, and then just release it. All right, deep breath. Couple more. Was that uncomfortable for anybody? How did it feel?
Calming.
Get more oxygen in the body to areas where needed.
And sometimes they get uncomfortable for us because we're not used to just being still. Even though we only took, a minute or two, we just not used to just being still. Smiling at you. Why you laughing? Why are you laughing?
She asked me how I felt, and I was just like, I'm liking it.
Yeah.
She said it's because I'm not used to doing it.
Exactly. You're not used to it because you said, you only go all the time. You don't have time. So once you really start practicing that, you even just in that moment, you will find things to start to shift for you, hopefully. Yeah. You got light headed over there. Okay.
Can I mention something?
Yes.
I was in the airport a few years ago, and this lady had on this necklace, and I thought, that is so cute, but it almost looked like a bird whistle, but it was real dainty and everything. And so I went up to her. She was kind of bird-like, if you know what I mean, kind of, like this, but, and I asked her, I was like, I like your necklace. She goes, oh, it's called a shift. And it is it's nothing but kind of like a whistle, but because she said a therapist recommended it because she would get so hyped, and it does that with the breaths. You suck it in, and then you blow through it, and wearing it around her neck reminded her to do that when she got like just really jittery and worked up and everything. So I ordered one.
Okay.
Somewhere, I don't know where it is now, but
And then sometimes I tell myself when I have to stop and do deep breaths that I am releasing whatever's going on in that moment. When I take that deep breath in and I release it out, breathe out, I'm releasing whatever's going on in that moment. All right, so let's do We're gonna do an exercise with our hands. Okay, you can say, we can go back to the, say on that one, with our hands, okay. So I want you to just sit as comfortably as possible and just observe your hands. You can rub your hands together. Notice what they feel like. Rub those fingertips together. Feel the ridges. Notice if your hands feel warm or do they feel cold. I want you to take it, make a fist, and then squeeze. And when you squeeze, feel that tension. And then release it. I'm gonna do that again. Squeeze and release it. I don't know about you all, but my shoulders, I automatically just want to relax when I do that. So you can tell that when our body is tense and we're holding all that tension inside, it's not beneficial for us. We have to release it and let it go. So that's another exercise that you can do. When you start feeling that anxiety or whatever's going on, make a tight fist, squeeze it, hold it all in, and just let it, relax it, and let it go. Okay, let's see, we're gonna do, all right, so now I want you to just close your eyes. And sit with your spine as straight as possible. And I want you to tense all of the muscles of your body. Don't do it to the point where it's painful or hurtful, but I want you to tense from your head to your toes, where you can feel all the tension in your body. Notice what your body feels like physically. And then let go of that tension. I want you to focus on your breath. And pay attention to the rise and the fall of your chest. Notice the air as you're breathing it through your nose. Notice if it feels warm or if it feels cold. Notice how you're sitting in a chair. want you to notice your feet. Does your feet feel light? Or does your feet feel heavy? Wiggle your toes. Now I want you to pay attention to what you're hearing. What sounds are you hearing? What sound seems far away? And then what sound seems close? And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. How did that feel? But y'all fall asleep on me. I know it's at the end. It's the end of the night.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes people say they can't sleep, they can't be still. So I want to hopefully I'm giving you all some tools, some practical tips that you can take and utilize. Don't walk out of here and say, I don't have time. I want you to be able to do something just to calm down, bring yourself back into balance. All right, so now I want to talk about hand reflexology. With reflexology, all of the organs and glands of your body are represented in your hands. All of them. From your thumb being your head. So anything that's going on with your head, sinuses, headaches, migraine, people have had seizures, stroke, your thumb and your great toe. We're going to get to the feet a little later, but it's in your thumb. Okay. My sinuses was one of the things that sold me on reflexology. I met a reflexologist, and I'm one of those persons, I just like my foot rub. And so I thought I was just going to be getting me a good foot rub that day, but we connected, and I was doing some stress management workshops, so we did some things together, and I received some services. But I noticed that it actually helped me with my sinuses. And actually, it was some years later when I thought about becoming a reflexologist, but that was one of the things that said, oh, there's more to this reflexology than just a foot rub. And then when I was doing my clinicals for reflexology, when I would do reflexology, I would get all just teary-eyed. And I was like, they think this lady don't do nothing but cry. But it was because the tips of my fingers are my sinus points. And my hands wasn't used to that. So why are you looking at me like that? My hands wasn't used to that. So every time I would stimulate somebody else, I was stimulating the tips of my fingers as well until it got used to that. And it was releasing, right? It was releasing. So reflexology, even with your hands, will help release things that are going on in your body. Also, I work with individuals that have hand pain, the numbness, the tingling, the throbbing, the weakness in your hands, carpal issues from just doing repetitive movement all the time. And we do it, and sometimes we don't even, realize it, whether we're typing or we like to be out, gardening. We are utilizing our hands. So what I want to do is just share with you all some techniques even that you can do on your hands just to help you to relax and release some of that tension as well. And then I'm going to take a couple of people just to demonstrate that on as well. But if you take your hands and just wiggle slowly. Okay. And then you can just do some stretches, light stretches, backwards. Now, the one thing that I'm going to caution you about doing is a lot of times when people start having hand pain, they want to do this. Okay? That's a no-no. What that's doing, that's aggravating it. Because if you already got pain and you're constantly doing that, and it feels like, and to them it feels like something wants to pop. So they're constantly popping their knuckles and they're doing that, but that's actually aggravating. So if you do feel like you want to rotate, just do it gentle and rotate and stretch. Okay. Now I want you to take each, starting with your thumb, take each finger and just gently pull. And you can actually start at the base of that finger and you can squeeze it, and then at the end, just pull, gently pull. And then you can change hands as well. Mine popped. And then just intertwine your fingers and then just stretch it. Now when you're stimulating your hands, you just want to move in small inchworm movements. The difference in reflexology and massage is massage.
5 minutes.
5 minutes? She said, what time is it?
36, 36.
Oh my goodness, 5 minutes, okay. All right, so when you are stimulating, with massage, they're manipulating muscles, so the touch is a little bit different. But when you're stimulating, you want to press into it, and then you want to do inchworm movements. And when you do that, you're going to feel, if there's stress and tension there, you're actually going to feel that. And let me jump over to the feet real quick. It's the same thing on your feet, and I can, you can all see it. It's the same thing on your feet. Every part of your feet represents a part of your body. Even with this here, that's your spinal area. So starting here, your head, you got your neck area, along here, that neck, that thyroid, this is your spine. So anything going on with that back, all the way down to that, to the tailbone. This will be your shoulder here, shoulder. And then you got all your sinus points, your eye, ear points. Around sciatic nerve is going to run up, monosciatic nerve from your lower back all the way down to your heel will be your sciatic. Around your ankle, you got your reproductive system, male and female. But if you cut your body in half and think about everything that's on the right side of your body and everything on the left side of your body, all of that is going to be represented. And I'm going to turn this around so you can kind of see a little closer. And then it'll be up front as well. How everything is situated, the way things are situated in your body. That makes sense.
So if you have neuropathy, they done have a whole lot.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Improving that blood supply, improving the blood supply and that nerve supply. people think when I talk about reflexology, and I can stand up here and talk, you know, like I've done for a long time. But you really have to experience it to truly know what it feels like. Any questions? Any questions?
I have an
I have
observation.
another exercise, but we're gonna
Somebody-
stop and take
Somebody
some
has a,
questions. Yes.
I know when, if you're constipated or something like that, I know I can touch different parts of my body through, touching in my hand and my feet, and I get a relaxation.
Right. Yep. Absolutely, because you got your colon, you got
Right.
your ascending, and even on your feet, your ascending and your descending colon is there. I had a client in my office, and she was having some digestive issues, and she said, "Oh, can you work my digestive system?" And then the next time she came, "Whatever you did last time, don't do that again." She said, "I barely made it to where you wanted your digestive system." And so it stimulated and it got things to moving. So yeah, absolutely. Questions, yes.
Yeah, I have a question. How long and how frequently should we use these tactics of the massage on the end?
If you're doing it for yourself as much as you can, if you got a